Okay, let's unpack this. The AI revolution is here, demanding ever more computational muscle.
Just incredible amounts, yeah.
But the traditional cloud, while powerful, feels increasingly like a centralized choke point, not to mention the growing costs.
It really does.
Yeah.
And those costs can be prohibitive.
What if we could tap into the vast reserves of unused computing power sitting in homes and offices everywhere?
That's the big question, isn't it?
That's the core idea behind aZen protocol. It's aiming to build a decentralized infrastructure powered by everyone's spare tech.
What's fascinating here is the fundamental shift aZen protocol is proposing. The insatiable appetite of AI for processing power is bumping up against the limits of our current infrastructure.
Right.
Centralized cloud solutions can become bottlenecks,
Yeah.
and like you said, the costs.
Yeah.
Well, they can be prohibitive, especially for smaller innovators. aZen is looking to sort of flip that model on its head.
Exactly. And this deep dive, tailored just for you, is going to dissect aZen protocol. We've compiled a range of sources, news articles, their own overview, and even a detailed roadmap to give you a comprehensive understanding.
Good mix of materials, yeah.
Our mission today is clear: to analyze aZen's vision, understand its mechanics, evaluate its potential impact, and see how far they've come in making it a reality. Think of this as your fast track to grasping the intricacies of this potentially transformative project.
Okay, so that immediately brings up the crucial question. What exactly is aZen protocol?
Let's start there.
In essence, it's a project focused on creating a decentralized computing infrastructure that's specifically designed to be AI native.
AI native, what does that mean in practice?
When we say AI native, we mean the protocol is designed from the ground up with the specific needs of artificial intelligence in mind. Things like efficiently handling large data sets and coordinating distributed computations.
Got it. So it's not just another general purpose blockchain.
Exactly. It's built with AI workloads as a primary focus.
Right. The core idea is to harness all that underutilized computing power, your GPUs, CPUs, even spare bandwidth and storage, and transform it into a valuable, tokenized resource.
Tokenized, that's key.
They've built this network called aZen DePIN Decentralized Physical Infrastructure Network, which allows users like you to monetize their idle tech.
It's like putting your computer to work for you when you're not using it.
Mm-hmm.
And that AI native aspect shapes their technology at multiple levels.
Mm.
The documentation highlights several key layers.
Mm-hmm.
The AI native protocol layer itself, the aZen DePIN network we've discussed,
Yeah.
a proof of contribution mechanism which incentivizes active participation, and tokenization as the coordination mechanism for this whole distributed ecosystem.
Okay, so aZen DePIN is the network connecting idle resources with those who need them. But how does this actually happen? Like, how are these resources made accessible?
Well, the central element appears to be the aZen marketplace.
A market.
Think of it as a decentralized Amazon Web Services, maybe. But instead of a giant corporation, it's powered by individuals and their unused tech.
Right, the crowd's resources.
Exactly. Businesses and projects needing computing power for AI tasks or storage, bandwidth, whatever. They can connect to this marketplace and potentially find resources at a more competitive price than, the big centralized options.
I'd be huge for startups.
Definitely. Giving them access to scalable computing power without that hefty price tag and potentially avoiding vendor lock-in you get with traditional cloud providers.
And getting your own resources onto this marketplace, it seems relatively straightforward. They mentioned the aZen Connect app.
Yeah, they offer the aZen Connect app available on those major mobile app stores, which acts as the entry point for individuals looking to tokenize their spare computing capacity.
So download an app, potentially start earning.
Sounds like they're aiming for user friendliness, making it as easy as possible. That ease of use is critical for widespread adoption, obviously.
Makes sense.
Another intriguing aspect is their introduction of App as a Service, or AC, within the marketplace.
Yes, sir. What's that about?
Their initial focus is on social traffic enhancement. So allowing Web3 and even Web2 projects to amplify their social media presence without relying on traditional marketing agencies.
Interesting first use case.
It is. It's an interesting initial application that showcases the platform's versatility beyond just like raw computational power.
Now, you mentioned proof of contribution earlier. POSI. This sounds different from proof of work or stake. How does it work? How do they ensure people are actually contributing value?
Right. This is where their proof of contribution, or POSI, mechanism really distinguishes itself. Unlike proof of work, which uses a ton of energy,
We know about that.
or proof of stake, which can sometimes favor those with a lot of capital, aZen's POSI is designed to reward participants based on their actual verifiable contributions to the network.
So real work, real contribution.
Exactly. This could involve providing consistent and reliable compute power, maybe actively participating in AI model training, developing useful dApps on the platform, or even contributing to essential tasks like data annotation.
Okay.
The core idea is to measure and reward genuine value creation that benefits the entire ecosystem.
So it's not just about having the hardware, it's about actively engaging and contributing meaningfully. That makes a lot of sense for building a robust ecosystem.
Precisely.
Now, looking at the bigger picture, the About aZen page mentions components like aZen, dfAI, and SocialFi. How do these broader concepts fit in?
Yeah, those appear to represent potential expansions and applications within the aZen ecosystem.
Yeah.
The specifics aren't super detailed in the sources we have, but we can kind of infer their direction.
Okay, what's the likely angle?
aZen dfAI likely refers to decentralized finance applications built on or using the aZen infrastructure, maybe lending, borrowing, or staking the aZen token, or even allowing users to earn interest on their contributed resources.
And SocialFi?
SocialFi could explore integrating decentralized social networking platforms with AI-powered features facilitated by aZen's compute capabilities. Think AI-driven content moderation or really personalized user experiences.
Interesting possibilities. And then there's ZenHive. This sounds foundational. What role does ZenHive play?
ZenHive seems to be a critical infrastructure layer for aZen, providing decentralized storage and compute capabilities. Importantly, they emphasize a real-world solution, or RWS, approach with ZenHive.
RWS, so practical applications.
Exactly. It indicates a strong focus on practical uses and delivering tangible value, not just theory. The sources mention ZenHive hardware products, integrated AI and data analytics functionalities, and specific target industries. Their business model seems centered around offering these decentralized infrastructure solutions tailored for real-world enterprise needs.
Okay, so ZenHive is the tangible infrastructure backbone, providing the actual hardware and storage capacity. Got it. Now let's talk about the token, the aZen token. What's its utility? Why does it exist?
Right, the aZen token is positioned as the lifeblood of the aZen ecosystem. It serves multiple critical functions.
Such as?
It's intended for governance, potentially allowing token holders to participate in decisions about the protocol's future. It acts as a reward mechanism, incentivizing contributions through that proof of contribution system we talked about.
So Putzi rewards are paid in aZen.
That's what the sources indicate, yes. Proof of contribution is tied to the emission of aZen tokens, and it will likely be required to access various services and features within the aZen network.
Utility, governance, rewards. Standard but crucial functions.
Absolutely essential for a tokenized ecosystem.
This all sounds incredibly ambitious. So where does aZen stand in terms of actual progress? What kind of real-world traction have they achieved so far? Have people actually signed up?
Well, the project appears to be gaining significant momentum based on the figures provided. As of August 2024, they reported a substantial 20,800 active DePIN nodes on their network.
20,800 nodes. That's quite a few.
It is. And contributing impressive amounts of shared resources. 672 terabytes of storage, 26 terabytes of RAM, plus a significant number of CPUs and GPUs.
Wow, okay.
They also reported 208,000 downloads of their aZen Connect app across both major mobile app stores.
So nearly 250,000 downloads by last August.
These metrics suggest a rapidly growing community and a substantial base of resources already integrated. That's real traction, not just talk.
Those are indeed impressive numbers indicating growing interest and participation. And it seems they're not just building in a vacuum. The news articles highlight some key strategic partnerships. Tell us about those.
Yes, these partnerships appear to be instrumental in expanding their reach and the utility of their platform. They've established integrations with 2 decentralized storage DePIN projects,
Okay.
both apparently backed by prominent investors like IDG and OKX Ventures. This allows aZen to leverage the existing idle resources within those storage networks for services like, say, content delivery networks, CDNs, and VPNs.
So they tap into other networks' resources too.
Seems like it. Representing a combined value, they estimate, of over $2 million in readily available resources. It's a smart move to bootstrap their ecosystem quickly.
That is a clever way to rapidly scale their available resources. And then there's the agreement with ZenLayer. That sounds particularly significant.
Absolutely. The commercial integration development agreement with ZenLayer is potentially a major step forward. ZenLayer is a substantial infrastructure as a service IaaS provider. They work with major cloud platforms like Alibaba Cloud, Microsoft Azure, AWS.
So a big established player.
A very big player. This partnership aims to integrate resources from ZenLayer's extensive global network, we're talking over 300 locations, with an estimated value exceeding $500 million.
$500 million worth of infrastructure.
Utilizing aZen's smart contract-initiated services, those self-executing agreements on the blockchain.
Right.
This integration aims to streamline service delivery for the Web3 industry with the promise of highly competitive pricing, essentially offering serverless-like solutions, but on a decentralized infrastructure.
That could dramatically lower the barrier to entry for Web3 projects needing robust global infrastructure.
That seems to be the goal, yes.
Okay, so they're building the tech, attracting users, forging significant partnerships. What does their roadmap look like for the near future? Where are they focusing efforts next?
Looking at their roadmap, updated around April 2025, they've already ticked off several key milestones throughout 2024.
Like what?
Things like the launch of the aZen Connect app, deploying their DePIN testnet on Solana, releasing the DePIN functionality on Android, the design and initial partnerships for ZenHive, the commercial launch of ZenHive products, and an integration with Peak, another Layer 1 blockchain focused on DePIN.
So they've been busy executing.
Seems so. They've clearly been quite active.
What are their key priorities for the current quarter then? Q2 of 2025.
The current phase seems heavily focused on two significant developments. First, they're planning to launch their enterprise portal.
For businesses.
Yeah, exactly. A crucial step to drive adoption by businesses, giving them a dedicated interface to access and manage the aZen network's resources.
And the second?
Second, and perhaps the most anticipated event for many, is the planned token generation event, the TGE for the aZen token.
The token launch?
Yes. This marks the official public launch of their native cryptocurrency, making it available for trading and use within the aZen ecosystem.
The TGE is always a pivotal moment for projects like this. What else can we anticipate from aZen throughout the remainder of 2025?
Looking further into 2025, the roadmap indicates their intention to expand DePIN support to Linux and Windows operating systems in Q3.
Okay, broadening the base.
Significantly broadening the potential base of resource providers, covering the vast majority desktop and server OSs. And then in Q4, they're aiming to launch a Zen Forge.
The Zen Forge.
Which sounds like it will be a comprehensive suite of developer resources, tools, documentation, APIs, basically, to empower developers to build applications and services on the aZen protocol.
So the strategy is clear. Continue expanding the network, actively onboard businesses, and cultivate a thriving developer community.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
That gives us a good picture of their immediate objectives.
Seems like a solid plan.
Now let's think about some real-world applications. How could a Zen protocol realistically be used? What kind of things could be built on it?
The potential applications are quite broad, really, stemming from that emphasis on both distributed compute power and the AI native capabilities.
Give us some examples.
Well, you could see the emergence of truly decentralized AI-powered applications, things like recommendation engines operating on a distributed network, maybe sophisticated fraud detection systems leveraging aZen's collective resources.
Okay.
The shared computing infrastructure itself could be incredibly valuable for those really computationally intensive AI training and inference tasks, potentially democratizing access to these crucial processes, moving them away from just the big players.
Making AI training more accessible. That's the idea. They also envision possibilities like decentralized social networks enhanced by AI, maybe for content moderation or highly personalized content delivery. And even incentivizing crucial tasks like data annotation for AI model training through that proof of contribution mechanism.
Using POSI to crowdsource data labeling. Interesting.
Yeah, paying people in aZen for labeling data that trains AI models.
Okay, those are some compelling examples of the potential impact. So if aZen can successfully pull this off, what are the fundamental challenges in the current tech landscape that it aims to overcome? What problems is it trying to solve?
Ultimately, aZen is tackling several key limitations of the current centralized AI and computing infrastructure.
Such as?
Firstly, they aim to democratize access to computing power, making it available to a much wider audience beyond those who can afford the expensive services of the major cloud providers.
Lowering the barrier to entry.
Exactly. Secondly, their proof of contribution mechanism is designed to reward genuine and valuable contributions to the network, fostering what could be a more equitable ecosystem compared to models that just favor raw processing power or capital.
Rewarding real value.
Thirdly, by being inherently AI native, they are building an infrastructure specifically optimized for the demands of AI agents and distributed computing environments, not just retrofitting something else.
Built for purpose.
And finally, the overarching vision seems to be fostering a more open and, well, democratized landscape for AI development, reducing reliance on the control of just a few dominant corporations.
All right, let's synthesize our discussion. What are the key takeaways that you, the listener, should remember from this deep dive into aZen protocol?
I think the core takeaway is that aZen protocol is building a foundational AI-native infrastructure aimed squarely at decentralizing computing resources. They're doing this through their aZen DePIN network.
Okay, DePIN is key.
And they're using a novel proof of contribution mechanism to incentivize valuable participation. Plus, they're poised to launch their aZen token, which will be absolutely central to the ecosystem's functionality and growth.
And for you, our listener, why should this project be on your radar? What potential benefits does a decentralized infrastructure like aZen offer?
Well, for you, there are several potential benefits to consider. Firstly, you might gain access to potentially more affordable and resilient computing power for your own projects or business ideas.
Cheaper compute.
Secondly, if you have underutilized computing hardware, a powerful GPU sitting idle, maybe, aZen presents a novel opportunity to monetize those resources, put them to work.
Earn from spare capacity.
And perhaps most excitingly, a decentralized infrastructure of this kind could really pave the way for the development of more innovative, accessible, and truly decentralized AI applications and services, things that could benefit everyone.
And with the project demonstrating tangible progress, those impressive node counts, app downloads we mentioned, coupled with significant upcoming milestones like the aZen token launch and the enterprise portal.
Big milestones coming up.
aZen protocol certainly appears to be a project worth watching closely in this evolving landscape of decentralized tech and AI.
Absolutely. The upcoming TGE and the launch of the enterprise portal are critical tests, really. They'll provide significant insights into the project's future trajectory and its ability to attract both individual contributors and, crucially, enterprise clients. The market's response will be very telling.
Definitely want to keep an eye on. So here's a final thought for you to consider. How might decentralized computing infrastructures like aZen fundamentally reshape the future of artificial intelligence and the internet as we know it?
Big question.
What entirely new kinds of applications or services might become feasible in a world where computing power is more distributed, more accessible, and, well, more democratized? We encourage you to explore further, check out the links to their website and social media in the show notes, and continue to delve into this fascinating project.